welcome to the Six Figure Influencer podcast. I am so happy you are here. So, I sat down today to record an episode about something which eventually will air. I haven't recorded it yet, but it will likely be the next episode. But I sat down, I had my notes and I went to speak and it was like, no, no. The thing that I was like, okay, I'll just do this, right? Like I can riff on this. I know you'll love it. It'll be good. My soul was like, that's not what we're talking about today. I can't explain it. It was this really weird resistance. And I knew what the alternate topic of discussion would be today. And I really, really didn't want to do it. I really, really didn't want to do this today. And to be completely honest with you, because I was doubting myself, because I was doubting my ability to navigate this conversation. It's really easy for me to talk about business and to talk about my experience and social media and your magnetism and all the things that we've been talking about. It's so fun to me and I'm building my confidence muscle. But when it comes to topics like navigating tragedy and enacting change and the vibe of politics and the vibe of what we're all feeling right now in light of the horrific event that happened in Texas and the shooting that happened at that grocery store. And in addition, I mean, it's been insane. It's one, this is nothing new. It's one thing after another, right? But anyway, when it comes to things like that, I don't feel as confident. And I'm sure the reason why is because I'm simply not practiced at it. Just like I preach to you, like if you don't feel confident talking in your stories or on your podcast or writing content or talking about anything in any specific way, it's simply because you're not practiced at it enough, just like anything else. So that's likely why. So anyway, I really didn't want to do this, but it was just, I have to. So I've prayed over this and I recorded part of an episode and I simply wasn't confident in what was coming out. So what I decided to do instead was stop the recording and write, because I find that sometimes when I'm able to write, it flows out a lot easier. I'm able to articulate my feelings and my thoughts a lot more clear through writing sometimes. And then eventually I'm able to speak it. So I wrote out what I'm going to say to you today, and I hope you'll forgive me for that. But once I got done writing it, I knew why I had to do it. I was surprised by what came out and I'm happy with what came out. And I truly feel like we need to have this discussion. And I truly feel like some of you hopefully will be really glad that I did this. Okay. So what inspired this is because, like so many of you, after what happened specifically this week, and, it really, anytime any kind of mass shooting or any kind of bad thing that happens to innocent people, it messes with you, right? But this week, as a parent of a 4-year-old and future parent to the child that is in my stomach, and like it hits different. And I haven't been able to shake this, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, what do you do? And in the past, what I've done is I feel the feelings and then I move on. And that's like this cycle that I think a lot of us would agree we go through, because what else do we do? And we do that because of, like, I think it's this deep down feeling of powerlessness, right? There's we donate money and we make phone calls and we share our voices and our opinions, and sometimes we protest and we do these things, but then it happens again, and then it happens again, and it's just like, dude. So it's really easy, at least in my opinion, it's been my experience to feel this feeling of powerlessness. And like, okay, well, clearly what I'm doing and what we're doing, clearly it's not making much of an impact, So like, what's the point? Or, what do we do? And, for me, it makes me more mad and it just makes me more doubtful of the system. And that's not helpful either. And then I had a thought a couple of days ago about personal power and the power of your growth and your rise and the ripple effect of that. I mean, if you just look at the ripple effect of any kind of improvement in your life, I'm sure you can see, maybe you can look back and you think of one thing positive that you've done for yourself that had a ripple effect on your life. So for example, let's say all of a sudden you were like, you know what? I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a business. Nobody in my family has started a business. And I'm going to do it because I want to. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. So you do. And you start this business. And because of that, your children see it and they're more acclimated to the idea of entrepreneurship and doing something different than what most people do. Maybe your siblings see that, maybe your parents see that, your friends, your family, right? They see that, they see you do that thing that maybe most people don't do or that they're not used to seeing. And because of that, it shows them proof of what's available for them. So maybe they start their own business, or maybe they go after a different job, or they just have this whole unique perspective. That's just one very tiny example of the ripple effect of one person rising and pursuing the type of life that they want, and the impact that has on the immediate people around them. And then you have to calculate the impact of the immediate people around those people, and so on. And it just ripples and goes and goes and goes. So when you consider that, you can imagine, okay, what if we took this to a greater scale? Like, what if we increase that? What if one person really doubles down on what I refer to and what I'm going to read to you is like their personal power. And when I say personal power, I mean like everything, like the energy, the frequency you emit as a human, the power you wield as one person. You can do this in so many different ways. And the examples that you'll hear that I give are like, the more that you become more aware of what is going around you, and the awareness of your own thoughts and your feelings, the more that you improve and focus on building your emotional intelligence, the more that you address your mental health and seek any kind of healing that you might need because of things that have happened in your life, the more that you improve your health, your power, the more that you focus on building your own wealth as a person, as a family, right? It's like it's the holistic approach to you as a human. It's more than a business. It's more than your health. It's more that like it all adds up. The more that you focus on improving your relationships with your partner, which will improve what you demonstrate to your children, which will change how they act with their peers, and so on and so forth. So anyway, when you think of it like that, it's like, okay, wait, we have a lot of power. We really do. And I don't think we've been raised to really think that way. And people can make arguments for why. But I think I know most of us haven't been raised to really believe in our own personal power and like understand the ripple effect of our rise and what that can have on direct people around us to and onward and onward. And because of that, it's really easy to discount it, and it's really easy to give it away and to forget that we have it right at our fingertips and it's been here all along. So anyway, this is just what I've been thinking about this week, and I put it into words and I want to read it for you, and I hope that it serves you. So here we go. Like many of you, I cannot stop thinking about the horrific tragedy that has taken place in Texas this week. Like many of you, I have shifted from moments of what the actual hell and not again to complete sadness and mourning, to anger and frustration, to this odd feeling of powerlessness. Because honestly, what can we do other than a phone call to a politician or an email to a politician, other than aligning in a protest, other than a vote, other than sharing someone else's or our own politically charged thoughts across our social media channels, other than all of those things that we are told make a difference, but then are proven otherwise time and time again? What can we do? And while I don't have that perfect answer for you, I do know what's not the answer. And by ruling out what's not, we are left with some things that possibly are. I know that putting our head in the sand and pretending that these things aren't happening is not the answer. I know that turning against one another because we don't have another outlet for our anger and frustration is not the answer. I know that continuing to trust that a broken system will eventually make itself right again is also not the answer. So what's left? I believe we hold more power than we give ourselves credit for. And I believe that the more we are able to walk with the anger we feel when horrific things happen and continue to focus on our own individual rise in awareness, emotional intelligence, health, power, the creation and building of our wealth, we're able to access more freedom. And when we are able to set ourselves free, we set those closest to us free. And we lead as proof to others watching of what's also possible for themselves. And then they set themselves free. And the ripple effect ensues far beyond what we can comprehend. JFK said, "A rising tide lifts all boats," which said another way is personal power is a catalyst for people in power. We know there is power in numbers. Now imagine the power of the right numbers, meaning a new generation of us who refuses to stand for the status quo and demand something different. It's one thing for people who fully depend on the system to demand change. It's another for people who aren't dependent on the system to demand other options or even create them. Paradigm shifts take time and numbers of people acting in agreement, but the time will pass anyway. So be angry, be sickened, feel exactly how you feel in this moment. Take action the exact way that you need to take action now. And at the same time, dedicate your whole life to your rise. One person cannot change the world in an instant, but the ripple effect of the one person can change the world over time. Personal power is the catalyst for people in power. Believe in that. Believe in you. I believe in you. I love you. I hope this gave you something to think about, maybe a slight perspective shift. And I hope this lights a fire under you to do really big, fabulous things with your life. Because when you're able to do that, in addition to handling life as it comes, which it will, that's where real change takes place. And change is coming. I can feel it. I'm sure you can feel it. I love you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you here next week. Bye.